delivery driver? Would you like to be safer and less stressed while driving and earn more at the same time? The Driver's Utility Helper app allows you to do just that. Create custom filters and its automated system does the work for you, automatically declining unwanted low-paying requests and accepting more profitable requests so you can focus on driving. Visit acceptordecline.com to get started today.
You, sir, are muted.
Muted.
He figured it out.
I'm just kidding.
I'm like, oh no, really not you now.
The Rodeo Roundtable. As you can see, Kim and I are here. Zach joined us. And so it's kind of a triangle table tonight, I guess. But we've been, same thing I've been doing all week. That's why we're a little late. So thank you for being patient, because a lot of my week on top of the work I'm doing is putting together this event, and it's creeping up quick. I feel like, like Saturday's gonna be 2 weeks. I feel like when you hit 2 weeks, it's like every day after that's crazy. So Zach, thank you for joining us. Of course,
Thanks for having me.
And Kim Side Money Plans, who has never missed a show. I've even missed my own show. Kim hasn't missed it. But so perfect attendance still. And everybody else, I think we're just kind of going through some summer stuff. I think, and I'm not saying summer slow, it's none of that, but I think that it's just people are traveling, doing things. That's why even some of the team isn't here tonight, is because they're doing something personal, which I'm going to say I'm glad about. I'm glad to hear when gig workers are stepping out of work for a minute. Like me, I live in Colorado. I don't need to spend money to do cool stuff. I can go hiking, biking, all this stuff. Like, so to me, if I go do that stuff, that's a win for me, because if I'm making the time to do that, that's kind of what all this is about, making the time for family, making the time for some fun and relaxation, even if it's just exercise and it's not fun for you, but you like it because it's keeping you, better balanced. Sitting in a car and being stressed all the time is not good for you. So recommendation is to, even if you are and you just can't break away or whatever, even we used to talk about homecations. Like, take a homecation if you can't go on a vacation. Just take 3 days off in a row and don't do anything.
I'm by the beach, so it is so easy just to take a 10-minute drive and get I call it your woosah going on.
Your woosah? Your hooga?
So I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chat real quick. What's up, Gigan? How are you? What's up, Bud Soda? What's up, Tim Gigwise? What's up, Thomas? How are you? What's up, Rick? And what's up, Aaron? Hey, Ceci, how are you? Tommy, what's up? And I think I'm caught up. And then some lurkers, obviously. Hi, lurkers. Hey, what's up, Cruise and Dasher? What's up? But yeah, but before we go in tonight, I want to say that my Patreon has been up for a while, but it's finally like daily posting now. Like, I'm on it. But at the end of next month, it won't be $5 anymore. But if you lock in, you'll get in for $5 a month forever. I won't ever change it on you. But I just want to talk about a few things that I am doing real quick. These are just quick things so for what all the membership levels, like, it's not like you get different things. I'm going to keep it where everybody gets the same. That's why I want to see anybody who's interested get in while it's $5 a month. But so these are just some of the things I'm already doing or will be doing, is some Patreon only lives where it can be very intimate. The audio podcast, I'm going to let you guys watch live. And because the audio podcast gets very heated sometimes, I'm going to stick around for a Q&A after. So those of you interested in that kind of stuff, you will be able to do that right through there. Curry and dumpling exclusive content will be over there. And a lot more that I'm actually looking at. But that's some of the stuff that you can expect as long as if you're not familiar with Patreon, it's a little bit different than like memberships on YouTube. There's a little more involvement. So you can get into conversations pretty easy, and I'm going to finally optimize it. I haven't optimized it till now, but just wanted to tell you guys, it's really simple. It's Patreon.com/RiDESHARE Rodeo. You can go check it out. That said, we got the Descend on Denver weekend coming in 2 weeks from tomorrow. The GigCon on Friday, GigCon 2023, and the Para Town Hall Summit on Saturday, August 5th. So the summit is split into 2 parts. 12 to 2 p.m. is the actual town hall event. So that'll have some politicians, some union delegates, some, this, that, the other. And that portion should be people who have questions or are seriously invested in wanting to take this event in. And then around 1:32, obviously everybody's welcome, but everybody's welcome for the first portion as well. What I would like to, though, is if you do want to come to the first portion and especially if you might have something to say, please email me and let me know. Even if you're not sure what you want to say, but you want to be there and you want to be involved, just so I have an idea of who might also be asking questions. Because I know a lot of you guys, and I'll know, that person might have a lot of questions or whatever. I just need to get some kind of read. But at 2 p.m., it's kind of like everybody's welcome. Come on down. Let's eat some food. Let's have some drinks. And we're going to have a good time. But the first part is the town hall. It's very important, you guys. So I'm not at all saying don't show. Live stream it, please. Do everything. I was talking with Sergio today before I talked to these guys. And honestly, the more the merrier, like live stream it. Come in. If you have a channel and you have subs, live stream it. You should be. Everybody should be. So that said, that event there's gonna be more and more posted, but I still think that my community post from about a week ago is pretty explanatory. It pretty much talks about, we're still adding things, but that's pretty much the sum of it. Like, you'll get the idea from that. But if you can't make it, you'll be able to watch. We were just talking backstage about the schematics of live streaming this, because it is going to be a little bit of a logistical challenge to live stream properly there. And so we're trying to figure that out right now. But yeah, everybody should come and live stream. We'll see what happens, I guess. But hopefully some other people are also shooting some video that isn't live. Please shoot some video, like that doesn't require that you're on wireless or using cell towers or anything. That just shoot some clean video. That'd be great. But we'll get around all that. So, okay. We got some stories here. We got, I know you guys talked about some last night, but I wanted to talk about this. I'm going to throw one in front of the other one first, because I wanted to talk about this. We see these strikes all the time. They never work. But there's one going on right now I find super interesting, because you can't strike. I think we're all on the same page. We've talked about this enough. You can't strike on a platform. It's called taking a day off. And it's nothing more than that. You're not going to make a difference by not logging on. And there's been a few of these in Instacart and stuff, but I found this article interesting because it's San Francisco, which is already, in my mind, already having this problem. But there's we're going homeless. San Francisco drivers fear the human cost of robotaxis, which led me down a hole into driverless car company Waymo's attack on Uber and Lyft in San Francisco, intensifying San Francisco's race for robotaxis, sharp divide over safety. As we learned watching the video a couple weeks back, the mayor, the fire department, the police, they want the autonomous out. And yeah, I think we watched that video on here. But they don't even want them in their city.
It kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, those things are going to kill people.
Luckily, guys, if you own an orange cone, you can defeat an autonomous vehicle. You just put it on its hood or in front of it. If you have two, it's great. You can put one in front and behind. But I did learn that even one on the hood stops it dead.
How did you learn this, Steve? Were you like,
do you want to know the craziest thing I saw?
Night, you took a cone from a construction site and you're Kim, screw this exact autonomous vehicle.
Do you remember, Kim, in that video where the fire department of all places were really going off? Remember? They were pissed.
Yeah.
They were like, these things stop when we have a fire and we're trying to back out, and they're like literally behind there. And they're like, I mean, they block them. They don't know what to do in emergencies. It's one of their biggest flaws. This was, I wanted to find it because I have on my other computer, I have a way to screen record, and I was going to bring it over to here, but there was an article that had some embedded thing I couldn't get to, but I could have screen recorded it, where it was a fireman that put the cone on the thing. Because it was close to the firehouse. He said, nope. Because he's, again, like we saw that video, it was showing how, like, if they turn their sirens on, for some reason, these dumb vehicles, like, turn the corner and block and get out of the way, but block the driveway to the firehouse. Because that's where they see in San Francisco, if you guys have not been, there's street parking, but it's always taken. There's not a spot. You could look for hours. You're not going to find nothing. But so, like, they look for that opening, like almost as if a fire truck's behind them. You need to pull over to the right. But they hear the sirens, and I don't know why. Again, the LiDAR doesn't work in extreme weather. A cone defeats an autonomous vehicle. The city doesn't want them there. But there's some big battles going on. I mean, like, Waymo's dumping a lot of money into this, and the state of California loves that they're there. My guess on that is that they pay them a tremendous amount of money to do live testing.
I just can't, like, I think I've said San Francisco. I mean, I've never been to San Francisco, but all the hills and ups and downs, like, I can't imagine even just but that alone, and trolley, like, I just can't imagine it actually being successful in a town that has so many obstacles that it already has.
I think, I mean, part of the reason I think that they're so heavily involved there is because, if you guys remember, during the pandemic, it became, and I've just said this many times, that it became two types of people could live in San Francisco: the 1% and the homeless. That's it. There was no in the middle. I mean, if you guys remember, there were the crash and steals at all the Walgreens. Walgreens and CVS left town. They closed half their locations and just left. They were like, we can't even get, the employees are too scared to be there. I mean, it was ridiculous. It just, like, they upped the amount of, it wasn't even for misdemeanor. It was like civil infraction for theft, but it had to be over $1,000. Over $1,000 is a misdemeanor in almost every state. But they made it a civil infraction, which meant police were watching from across the street and not even saying stop.
That's what happens here.
Crazy.
I mean, it's a bad road to go down, but I feel like they're like, okay, well, there's nobody really living here anymore. Let's just run these. And I mean, clearly, look, the mayor, it's kind of weird. I get it. I know how politics and that kind of stuff works, but it's weird to me that, whether it be Newsom or whoever is wanting the autonomous there so heavily, everybody in the city of San Francisco does not want it there.
There has to be.
I think that this is one of those. I think that this is one of those. I'll rock, paper, scissors for it. I think this is one of those things where it's got that novelty at first, and then they start crashing, they start killing some people, they start running over somebody's grandma or dog or something like that, and people are like, actually, I've heard some stuff about these, and I'm just going to pay the money for an Uber or a Lyft or an actual taxi. Like, dude, you couldn't pay me to get into one of those.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's funny that I've only seen few. I would think more people are recording these rides. By the way, guys, they don't go 24 hours a day. They actually, and it seems, I understand the logic, but it's pretty weird. They only run at night. Seems like it. Yeah. I think the main reason is to take the bar crowd home and try and bring down DUIs. I get that. But they're on like 3 different paths they can take. So, like, some of the few videos we've seen are like a passenger recording it and going, this is going to be fun. And then they get in there. And San Francisco, even at night when there's not a lot of traffic, takes a long time to get anywhere. And so maybe they live 15 minutes away. They're like, wait, why is this ride 45 minutes? Because that ride has to take a specific route.
Because it's going to screw up and take you the wrong direction 5 times.
But it's like you're going to get a free tour of the city. I mean, you're not going right home.
I think I said this before when we talked about this before. Like, San Francisco has to be getting one heck of a kickback from doing this, or something that's making them say this is the best thing ever. Like, I get, like, they think it's like the hip and cool and, thing to do, and we're going to be on the cutting edge, but there has to be money involved big time.
Yeah.
You never get anything done without money.
No, like,
but you would think that the politicians in San Francisco would at least be aligned with their own state and go, okay, we'll shut up about it. They're not. They're very vocal. Get out of here.
Yeah, well, they're the ones having to deal with the problem.
But then again, like, who are the other people complaining? Police and fire. I mean, this is a big deal. If all the primary things that we need are complaining that these are a nightmare, get them out.
Because they're probably getting random cops. They're probably getting random calls that I'm stuck in a vehicle and I can't get out.
Can you imagine that phone call? My autonomous Uber won't let me out of the vehicle. We're only going like 4 miles an hour, but it won't stop. Help.
The other thing is, now that they're driverless too, the Cruise and the other ones in San Francisco, the fact that they're driverless, I've talked to lawyers, but I've also heard this many times now, is that there's a very cloudy area. Gig economy, shocker, always a cloudy area, but there's a very big cloudy area over. If you're on the highway and you in a autonomous vehicle runs into you, who are you suing?
The company who made it.
Are you suing Cruise, or are you, because there's no driver, there's no ticket to be written. There's a situation here because there's a process that gets broken. You can't write a ticket because there was no driver.
I would sue the city and the Waymo. I would sue both.
But do we? I mean, I agree with you, Kim. But do we all understand what it costs to bring a lawsuit of that size to the table?
A ridiculous amount of money.
You're going to be putting down payments on lawyers. Will be happy to take on your case, but it's not going to be pro bono.
Yeah.
You're going to pay for this, and it's going to be tens of thousands of dollars minimum just to get it in the door. So, I mean, I guess part of my issue is it's kind of like a lot of things I've read. It's kind of like an all or nothing. We either have to go fully autonomous or no autonomous, because there's no way to have human interaction into that autonomous land. Because I can tell you this too, like Tony, the driven dad, he's had different style Teslas. He's had them all. He's had the full what they call full autonomous, and then very, very little beta. And if you guys don't know what that means, the beta part means it drives full autonomous, but if it crashes in full autonomous mode, you, the driver who are not driving, are responsible.
Is that the one that Gary drove when he was?
Yeah. And it gets aggressive. Like when Gary and I were in it with Tony, I mean, I've been in it with Tony before too. It gets aggressive. Like when you put it in autonomous mode, it'll see a truck, how fast the truck is going. There's a car here. It'll jam in between that car and the truck. It doesn't like, it's not defensive like you'd think. It's aggressive. It's very aggressive.
Teslas have road rage too.
I'm just saying, I find it weird because, like, here we go. Like, these lawyers must be onto something, because who are you going to sue? Because if Tesla's saying, hey, yes, it has a full autonomous button, just push it right here. It does everything. But if it does anything wrong, you're responsible.
Can you slam on your brake at the same
time? Yeah, you can take it over at any time. But it's my point is like, it's not full autonomous if it doesn't work. I mean, that's Tesla stamping it. It doesn't work. Often it doesn't work. I mean, to me, that's crazy. Like, I don't want to be on the road with, like, what if I get hit by an autonomous Tesla and somebody who's underinsured? I feel like even these cars on the road could cause a problem for me.
I see your perspective on that.
I mean, I don't know. I can't exactly pinpoint what it is, but
Yeah, I was going to argue with you, but then I decided better of it because I think you can have the better argument.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe there is a good argument to it. To me, I feel like I've said this forever. There's a lot of land in Arizona south of Phoenix and west of Tucson. Go build a city that no people live in and run your autonomous down there. It's extreme weather. It's desert. Let your LiDAR fail. Learn how it failed. You know, have it be like Men in Black, where like the different things pop up that he has to shoot, and then the girl pops up. like have things pop up. You know, have it be a literal, not a live testing site, but have it be where people aren't. I mean, am I the only one who thinks this? I just don't get why we keep launching them into cities. Like I know that they need to learn from other cars, but wouldn't it be just as good to have all of the autonomous companies there running their own systems and seeing how they interact with the other systems? I would think that's just as good as seeing how they do with other drivers, especially when they don't work. I mean, the LiDAR is like a 60%. So it's a D minus.
Steve's got a second channel called Autonomy Fails.
They can put it next to what, Area 51?
Hey, John.
Can you imagine, speaking of Area 51, can you imagine if you programmed a Tesla to like drive into Area 51 and there's no driver?
That's a great idea.
It'd be fun, right?
Just keep sending them in, like a whole line of them.
Right? Just like, you know, set up a bunch of, set up like a 360 camera, see if you see like ET and shit.
And then no one can claim anything about it because no one can get it for anything.
Derek says 2 cars enter, 1 car leaves.
Telling you. Right next to match made in heaven.
I just find it interesting. Because when all this started, San Francisco was very on board with this. Now the entire city wants them out. And I'm going to say, and here's what I'm going to say about that. I feel like San Francisco, if you can't make it in San Francisco, good luck making it in any other town in this country with your faulty autonomous. Because, I mean, like, I know Denver if anything, they're watching San Francisco and seeing how they like it. Now they're hearing, wow, none of their politicians, none of their mayor, their city officials, nobody wants it there after a year. So they're like, I mean, I think that's a learning experience, you know, like, well, no, we don't want it.
I was looking at Gigwise's comment, Johnny 5 is alive.
It's true, though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I already know I've talked to people in the industry. I already know that autonomous, at some point it will come, but we're not there. We're not there at all. I know that Toyota or GM backed up from, we talked about this on Driver Nation before in one of the last few episodes in depth. They were going for autonomous level 4 to 5. And instead of proceeding forward, they fully got out and went back to level 3, which is basically road assistance. Like if you're going off the road, it brings you back. That kind of autonomous stuff. And that spoke volumes to me because it's like, that's where we're at. It's like the electric car. I don't think we're at the electric car. I think we're at the hybrid.
I got to disagree with you on that one.
That everybody can do one, though?
Not that everyone could do one now.
Okay, because
I think that the technology is good enough that they're
a
viable option for a lot of people. Yeah.
I just mean like the infrastructure and stuff. It's not there.
I feel like we're stepping over a step. Like, I don't think we've ever fully integrated into a hybrid. Like, I feel like that should be like step 1. Like, everybody gets integrated into a hybrid vehicle. And then step 2 would be electric. And then, you know, go into, you know, the self-driving. And like, I don't even think we're at hybrid stage. And a lot of times, like, I know my state, I think they were planning on going electric by, I forget.
See, I'm already going to hate this because you're going to give a date.
I don't
hate
know the
dates because they're always.
I'm like,
fake.
I don't know the date. I'll be honest. I don't know the date, but I feel like we're jumping over, like we're just completely jumping over the hybrid stage and going right to electric. Like I just feel like we're just keeping leaps and bounds and we're not fully embracing what's in front of us.
Well, and I mean, but here my point remains though, like what Zach said. Yeah, okay, the electric vehicles there, the infrastructure is not there at all, and California's saying that, I mean, California's governor openly said that by 2025, they'll be at 35% electric vehicles. By 2027, they will be at 65%. And that by 2029, they will be at, 85% plus? Okay. So that means you're going to need a charging station for 85% of California's population. But you went on live TV last year and told people they had to turn their air conditioners off because of the grid. If anybody can explain that, I'll believe it.
Steve never forgets.
Never, dude. Because I also know, like, dude, they knew they were overloading the grid with air conditioners. We're gonna charge millions of cars every night. Come on, man. That's why I hate these dates, because they're clearly fake. Why not just say in the future we're looking at going this route? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I understand.
I think it's a scare tactic. They're like,
yeah.
Well, we're gonna scare everybody into getting like electric vehicles, and it's gonna boom the economy because now everybody's buying these, more expensive cars because they think that they need to. Like, I think to me, it's a scare tactic.
Yeah, but if we get a shift in politics in the White House, I guarantee you that Keystone Pipeline's back on. And all of a sudden, then what? Now what? Okay, well, hey, California, screw you, because you should have stuck with hybrid. Again, I think it does come down to, because let me say this, even to run the charging stations, you need fossil fuel. If you're not aware of that, you do. You can't run these charging stations without fossil fuel. So you still need to fuel the charging stations. I know we'll get there, but we're not there. And I'm getting really sick of hearing that we're there and this kind of crap. Like, I feel like in California, they just don't care about their people. Like, just let the vehicles run. All right, whatever. Like, but then I know they're going to be in LA too. They're stacking to get ready to launch in LA. There must be a reason why California is the one who allows them to be there, and yet they're the most overpopulated state. I don't know. That was my rant about that, you guys. I know you guys, it was that or robots tonight, and I wanted to go after that because I know that even the city wants them out.
I will say though, if you go on to TikTok, I know, Steve, you go down that TikTok rabbit hole every once in a while, but there are some really funny videos about robots on streets and what people do to them and what they do. There's some pretty funny stuff out there.
You guys, the best TikTok channel is called Film the Robots. If you guys haven't watched this yet, this guy lives in LA and he follows them around. He knows them all by name. And he just verbally abuses the crap out of them.
What's up, Gunshot? Hello, Dynamite.
Well, they all have names on them, but like he'll go, "Oh, you went into a wall today, dumbass!" Like, because they do everything he's doing isn't just him joking about them. They're screwing up in one way or another. Like, his first filming was the one that shot the great footage of the robot that went into the crime scene at the school shooting last year. And if you guys remember that one, if you guys have ever seen it, it's weird because the robot pulls up to the police line, and it's weird because there's a reporter there that lifts the police tape because the robot's going back and forth like it wants to go past it. And there's a reporter who sticks his finger and lifts it up for him so that the flag can get underneath.
Zach, is that the one we showed on Money Hungry? It was, right?
And then they go, and it goes right behind the bomb squad and everybody else, and they're just looking at it. I'm like, it's okay, here's where it blows up. Like, I was like, what are you guys doing? This is a mobile bomb.
It could be.
You morons.
Never know. Thank
you, Steve or Craig. I appreciate that very much. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I find his videos are hilarious, but he does, like, there was the Jesus guy who got hit in the leg, and he's actually, there's now an elongated video. We played the shorter one once, but there's a longer video that kind of shows like, yeah, he was out there like we thought, but at the same time, it did run into his leg. It did chop him down. And yes, after the fact, I think he must have kicked it a couple times, and that was with the stuff off camera because it did have some dents, and he was eating food with a plastic thing when they came up to talk to him, but it's a whole thing. Anyway, I'm gonna praise something I'm not gonna praise them, but Instacart is like making a little comeback. Like not in terms of orders, no, not in terms of orders I see, but they're moving into new space. They're actually the first company I would actually start to say has a little bit of technology behind it.
Are you talking about the
yeah, the caper carts, some of the other things they're doing too are just like, I feel like they are acknowledging the loss of Instacart, what it was, and they're trying to move forward with bigger plans.
I feel like with Instacart, and I think this is like a lot with grocery in general, I think that they were so into the success of the pandemic and like we're skyrocketing, like we just blew up, but now they don't know how to come back down, and I think that's where their struggles are coming from, because how do you now gain people back when they don't need that service any longer? And I think that's the biggest issue with even Spark and Instacart, Shipt. Like, I think they're all struggling with the same thing. Like, how do you make it new, fresh, and exciting that you want people to use their platform?
Yeah. I mean, the smart card is cool. If you guys aren't familiar with the caper cart, it's actually like it's not the smart card. It's actually an upgrade on. That's why they call it caper cart, because they didn't want it tied to their old smart card. But this one is like everything you throw in gets added up. And so when you're done, you can check out from the cart. Yeah. There's some cool features. I know that like, we don't have them here. Is it Chinooks? That sound right? It's a grocery store chain. I know they're in St. Louis. I think it's Chinooks. Gigwise is here. Tim, is it Chinooks? Am I saying it right? Anyway, Chinooks has them now, or will here very soon. And I'm talking all of them. So unlike where Kim is, where we were trying to pin down where the few were, because there were only a few.
Yeah.
This is going to be all of the Chinooks are going to have them here very soon. So
I've been saying it. They literally built Amazon Fresh right like miles away from me. But it's been sitting empty now for almost a year. Like, it's been built and empty for a year. So until someone, I guess, decides to do something with it, I don't know what happened with it, but I'm literally dying to like get it to get open so I can get in to see what the technology of it is.
I know. I mean, again, it doesn't seem like brain surgery. It's impressive. I mean, it doesn't seem like really that's what you consider amazing technology. No, but I know that Uber like claimed they were a technology company and they have no technology. So I'm impressed that they're trying at some things. I guess I'm trying to show you guys I'm open-minded. You know, I hate Instacart.
What that is?
Was it not?
We'll go with it.
I felt like it was open-minded. I don't know. Was it not open-minded for me? I feel like I just said something nice about Instacart.
Am I?
Write the date down.
That was the best I could do, guys. That was the best I could do.
I'll give you an E for effort. Okay,
so this is just a quick little fun story because I found it hilarious. So there's a family in Columbus, Ohio. A Columbus woman got a surprise from Lyft after sharing that her entire family couldn't use Uber because they happened to have the same last name as the company.
No.
Her name is Michelle Uber. She is the owner of Quick Stitch Plus, and her entire family is whatever their name is, Uber. None of them could sign up for the Uber app because it wouldn't take Uber as the last name. So Lyft sent all of the family members $1,000 each.
Good for them.
Nice.
Good for them for capitalizing on that.
Man, that would get me to and from the bar about 4 times.
I just had to point that out because I thought it was fucking hilarious, dude. Like, Uber has a problem with you putting Uber in. Like, clearly this is your legal name. Like, this is the same company that used to allow you to put pictures of dog poop as your profile picture and name yourself anything you wanted when you got picked up.
Couldn't they just leave
I've
it,
said, I've picked up this one guy, and I'm from sketchy areas than we have out here, but there was this one that had like just the rottiest gold teeth, and that was the whole picture. And his name was Da Man. I had no street lights. I was picking up. I'm like, this is fun. I mean, here's my point. Not only is it already sketchy, I don't know who the heck I'm looking for. Am I supposed to go, are you Da Man?
Couldn't they just leave off the last letter of R to get it to work?
I'm just saying that's, like, I mean, okay, again, like you can't be last name Uber, but you can use dog poop as a picture and make up a name. But I can't use Uber. That's my name.
Can you imagine if they got a lawsuit for infringing on the company's intellectual property?
Well, wouldn't the family have been around before the damn?
You'd think, but you know,
they should sue Uber.
Yeah,
there
but
you
more
go.
Stealing their families.
That's some good money right there.
Yeah, say our family had a great history of being great people, and now you've scorned it with your.
I don't know if either
Can
of
you
you are
trademark
wrestling
the last
fans.
name?
I don't know if either of you are wrestling fans, but you remember back in the day, WWE used to be WWF, and they got into like this big like FU not FU, and ultimately the court sided with the World Wildlife Foundation, and so WWE had to change their name. So, I mean, stranger things have happened, right? Both multi-billion-dollar companies. Hey, the Ubers could step in and be like, "No, your name is now Putt Putt Go." It's the best I could come up with on the fly.
Like, really? That's what you came up with?
I don't know. Give me 5 minutes. I can come up with something creative. Putt Putt Go wouldn't be too bad. I mean, it sounds a little European, but
I ran across that story. I loved it because I thought, it's always bad stuff, but I thought it was great of Lyft to go that far and spend that much on that one little thing. Of course, it's a PR stuff.
Yeah, it's a PR
They're not
stunt.
doing it because they're kind-hearted people.
Just trying to get their name in the news more. Yeah,
but I do appreciate them doing it. I think it's funny as crap. Like, these are the Ubers. They're not allowed on Uber.
Meet the Ubers. Not allowed on Uber. It'd be so weird, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I found that to be just crazy. So I didn't know which ones to touch on for food, but I did at least want to quickly, and I won't spend a lot of time on this because I talked about it on Para today. But the California Supreme Court on Monday handed Uber drivers a victory against the company. The court on Monday, July 17th, ruled against the tech giant's argument that aimed to end efforts by drivers to bring employment disputes before a judge. So now you can sue the company. You don't need to get into and this was a 2019 suit, but one of the things I really wanted to point out was not just this claim, but are you guys familiar with PEGA?
That's where you sue them, and then California keeps like 75% or some shit of your money.
So here's how it's worded, because I think it's really messed up, man. Is that the following year? So the PEGA, here's PEGA, Private Attorneys General Act, PEGA, and it's a law that is unique to the state of California, in which allows workers to sue employers in the name of the state. So that's where it even gets weirder. In the name of the state, if the worker prevails, they keep 25% of the winnings. The other 75% goes to the state. So here's the thing. They're allowing you to be self-declared attorneys. You have the state's backing to go after any employer and say that they're breaking employment law. And if you win, you get 25% of the state.
Can you imagine how fucking stupid that would sound? The state of California and Mr. Drives Fast versus Uber Technologies.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck, man?
But this is broadly for everybody. They're trying to find the nooks and crannies of AB5 dodgers who like need to be caught and shut down. Again, I stand by this. Prop 22 is its own thing. AB5 just destroyed lives and careers. That's all it did. There's no upside to AB5. They were supposed to create jobs. To this day, every expert I've had on any podcast I've done says zero created. We're not even talking little amounts, zero. So all this that it was supposed to do just really killed off livelihoods of writers and musicians and at first attorneys. And of course, there were exemptions. The bill got so sloppy, AB 5 became AB 2257. They had to rewrite it because there were more pages of exemptions than there was content. I mean, I remember a point when we did Gary and I did a Sunday Fun Day where we went through the 611 things after the carve-outs you can't be in California anymore. 611 careers abolished after AB 2257, after the carve-outs. What do we got here? What's up, Thomas? Other Thomas. We have a Thomas that's always here. This is Grand Rapids Thomas. I don't.
Grand Rapids Thomas.
Okay.
I know Thomas. What's up, Thomas?
Yeah, no, but he's in Grand Rapids. I know that. I'm from Michigan, so I gotta keep up with my Michigan people. But yeah, I mean, this is that part's crazy to me. It's disgusting. It's what we complain about with the app companies. When I started with Uber, it was a split. It was like 85-15. 85% went to the driver, 15% went to the platform. Made tons of money. You didn't really need to see the breakdown. You did great. Now we hear ultra bad stories about 75% to Uber, 25% to the driver. And those are becoming more and more common. Well, that's what the state of California is doing to you. If you have a legitimate lawsuit, they're saying, hey, go for it. But we're taking 75%. To me, that's crazy. Like, if I have a good lawsuit, I don't need the state's backing. I'll just get a lawyer and I'm going to take care of it. Like, why do I need the PEGA backing saying that, oh no, he's got our endorsement? I don't care. I'd rather just make my lawsuit and make my claims. And I'd rather keep all the money if I'm actually taking the time to sue somebody. I'm not doing it to make the state of California money.
No, isn't that what it's all about? That was making yourself money.
I know, but I mean, to me, that's just so backward crazy. Like, the state endorsement part alone is killing me, because the state endorsement part is literally saying that you're not a lawyer, but we'll say you are while you sue them. If you lose, you deal with all of it. If you win, give us 3/4 of it. So they're like making people unofficial attorneys or state representatives, which you're not. You're not an elected official. And yeah. But anyway, so there's that. And there's the fact that now, and I guess, I mean, some are calling it a win, some are calling it a loss. I don't know. I feel like it'll go more after AB 5. So I don't know. I know that it could help or hurt the gig economy. California has been an up in the air state to me, because every time I hear about these changes, I'm always weighing them against what the other side of that will be. And I don't know. I'm still just not convinced. I'm not convinced by this. But then the ruling now comes nearly 2 weeks after a decision by New York State Supreme Court Justice that temporarily halted a new minimum wage law 2 days before it was supposed to go into effect. And that's the third date that it's given to go into effect. Every time the date gets shot down, and every time everybody there gets excited that they're getting a new minimum wage, they're not. Uber will fight this in court for 50 years. They're not going to ever fold on that. But the law was supposed to take effect July 12th and mandated that the companies pay delivery workers $17.96 an hour. This is New York City. And we already saw this happen with RiDESHARE. It failed. It failed horribly. So I don't know why. And it was in New York City. I don't know why they're going for it with this now too. With that figure set to reach nearly $20 an hour by April 2025. If you live in New York City and you're fighting for $17.96 an hour, what are you doing?
Right? I think we said that the last time.
I don't live there, but I would think you could go get any job for $20 plus an hour in New York City.
You could probably even do better than that.
That's what I'm saying.
Better than that. Mm-hmm.
Way better. I mean, I would guess fast food pays $30 an hour in the city. Maybe not. I'm just saying though, like, I feel like this is the ultimate bottom of the barrel, and this is what they're fighting for. Or this is what they were excited about. Yes, $17.96 an hour. Okay, really? Because that sucks. And all we know is that, look, we saw it happen in rideshare. If you make a number, you're just making the hustlers and the earners pay for the people who are sitting at home not accepting. You got to meet, and you got to have a floor meet ceiling. I mean, there's just no other way around it.
Shit like that just invalidates the independent contractor model further.
Yeah.
If we're contractors, we have the right to decide how much or how little we're going to make, right? Like if I want to sit around in a parking lot like I've done many times and not accept anything, I don't deserve to get paid for it, right? But on the days where I'm hustling my ass off and I'm making 30, 35 bucks an hour, right? It's because I worked for it. Don't put a ceiling and don't put a floor.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. At the end of the day, we are responsible for the decisions that we make. And there's no two ways about it. It's not the company screwing us. It's us making a decision for ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, the companies are
and
doing
the fucking government
crazy
getting
things.
Is not going to help anything.
Yeah, but yet the companies are crossing a lot of lines, no doubt. However, I mean, like, that floor meets ceiling thing is a cringe to me because, look, the people who are making like 8 or whatever in New York City that are claiming that they need this, I don't believe in that. I believe that let the hustlers work.
If you're making $8 an hour in New York City, you got to be doing something wrong.
Oh, you're definitely doing something wrong.
Part of it too is how are you doing it? Are you doing it in a car? Because you can't park a car.
Yeah, I could see it in a car, right? If you don't have somebody working with you, sure. That I could see. And if you're taking bad orders or you're accepting orders from restaurants that are known to be slow, sure, I could see it 1 order an hour, right? But for those, if you're driving in New York City,
you can't.
And not, like in not a suburb, but like actually in the city, like what are you doing? You need to be on a bike or a scooter. That's the only way you're going to make any money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like
it says 18 to 22. I mean, that's hot. So fast food, like we were talking about, that's higher entry pay than what they're saying we're going to guarantee you now. Like the win for the delivery space was $17.96. And if this is correct, even the entry of and that would seem correct to me because you can start here at McDonald's at 17, 18 bucks.
I just feel like with this whole entire thing, I feel like I want my cake and eat it too. Like I want $1 per hour. And I feel like they think that, oh, I'm going to get $1 per hour plus I'm going to get tips. So it's almost like I'm double dipping and getting more money. And that's not how it works. And I don't think people realize that that's not how any of this works. And you just became an employee for one of these companies, which now you're going to legitimately make $17 an hour. You're not going to be making the money that you thought you were going to be making.
And that's part of the problem too when you start getting the government involved, right? And I realize that there are the rare outliers, but for people who have not actually done it for themselves and they start poking their nose in the gig economy, they hear we want transparency, we want to know exactly how many miles we're going to drive, how much we're going to earn, right? How does that always get twisted into we want a minimum wage and fucking benefits? That's not what I asked for, and that's not what like 80 some odd % of independent contractors are asking for.
No, in fact, I've been a traditional one since the late 90s. I weigh there's pros and cons to independent contractorship, people. And I know a lot of people, I'm not bagging on people, but a lot of you don't know them.
So like I've heard an argument at one point. People get on YouTube and they complain, right? And the person who said it, I got plenty of respect for them. That's just their prerogative. I have a problem though, calling up legislators who have shown time and time again that they don't listen to what we're actually asking for. So I would rather take the backseat, so to speak, get on my channel, on my soapbox, and say, don't do this. This is manipulation. This is a game. This is a trick. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how I choose to reach people, and we have a rare gem, I think, with Stephanie because she's done it.
Oh yeah.
She's done it, man. She gets it.
And at the same time, we have a lot of help to give Stephanie because she's been in politics for all of 3 months now. So, and it's no offense. Trust me. I knew Stephanie before she took her seat. I knew her during the election. I knew her post, and she's changed a lot. She's grown a lot. She's taken already in one session, she's taken in a lot of political language. I've even noticed it in our conversations.
Dude, at the end of the day, my ultimate thing is don't try to look out for me with my pay. Just make sure that they can't hide it from me.
Yeah. Then I know when I was doing traditional IC way before these gig apps, I knew one of the downsides was medical. That was a big one. Medical was a lot cheaper then too, but medical was a big one because you don't have it. So I went out and got a policy. It still made sense to me. The company I was doing things with, I started on a salary for 2 years. I can tell you one thing. If you think the gig apps get you good, and this is a great company to work for, but I had a lot to learn. I was coming in way under the bar, but I had a lot of enthusiasm and love and passion for these projects, but I had a lot of learning to do. So salary to me meant a lot of hours. So it was very hard to break down what my earnings truly were because for 2 years, I gave my life to this company. I moved to Miami. I did nothing else. I guess a lot of my life was doing production work. So I was out and about doing stuff. But I was working a lot of long hour days. And that's a salary position. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt. But you can't go after independent. You can't say that we can't dictate a minimum wage unless we're going to go to a system where it's all unionized and it's franchised and it's W-2 model. And in that case, the three of us are gone. I think most of you in the chat are gone.
Yeah.
Part of the problem when states start stepping in and implementing minimum wage and stuff like that is that's tiptoeing into the realm of an employee. That's opened the door where it's like, okay, well, we've got this. Now let's try to do this. And while we're at it, let's throw that in there. At what point are you no longer 1099 and you become W-2?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, it's kind of nice because as we're like rounding out the show here. And by the way, guys, when this show ends, and it looks like we'll kind of be close to on time tonight, go check out Dashing Grandpa because his live starts pretty much as ours ends. And it's always a nice cool down. So Brandon's always got a nice talk going on. I love going in there and chilling out. So, but yeah, I think that it comes down to what we're kind of getting at now is this August 5th event. I think this is a huge deal. Maybe I'm like talking to a lot of people who are kind of getting me built up about it too. I had Sergio say to me today, he said, "Hey, a lot of things are going to go wrong, but a lot of things are going to go right." I was
That's
like,
such a Sergio thing to say.
I said that's so Sergio.
I'm like, I know there's things going to go wrong, but don't tell me that, man. Come on.
Kim, have you gotten one of those calls from him yet where he's just like, oh my God, and just like rapid fires on you?
No.
Oh.
Well, regardless, we'll be hearing, that is how I feel. And now it's getting closer. But a lot of what we're talking about here is important because, yes, is it being done in Colorado? And like Zach said, are we talking to Stephanie and other Colorado people? Yes. Are there going to be union and non-union? Yes. But it could transfer very easily to anywhere in the country. This conversation could be continued everywhere.
Here's a radical idea. Before a politician starts messing with an industry that they haven't participated in themselves, maybe they should be required to do a year in that industry before they start fucking with the law.
Yeah, but then you got politicians who have to make policy on armed forces.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Then what do you do?
Fair.
Because a lot of those people are just...
I'm not talking about like DOD stuff, man. I'm talking about like 1099 type of work.
Yeah. I guess one thing I've learned is like I was telling you guys before is that I think that, look, we talked about we need to educate the drivers. We need to educate the customers, and we do. Both those need to happen. But we really need to arm and educate the politicians. They're and I'm not saying they're bad people. They're not even all bad people. They're just very... I thought
you were about to say they're not even all people.
Well, maybe they're not. I don't know. But
hey, maybe we'll be our own news story, Zach, on the following week. You never know.
See,
there you go.
Look, they're not all bad. They just don't understand what's going on. They don't understand that 98% of us don't want what they're seeing in emails and letters coming through to their staffers. Because I've said this a few times, like, look, when you're mad and you're like, God, DoorDash and these apps, and I got deactivated for no reason, that's when who's my congressman? Okay, I'm writing them. You're going to write them. They only get letters in anger. Nobody ever writes them and says, bang up job. I love it. Keep up the good work. Like nobody does that. I'm going to literally say nobody writes a letter blindly saying, thank you. I love being an independent contractor in the gig economy. Thank you for keeping it that way. So my point to that is when they ask their staffers, because I've even talked to Stephanie about this. I already knew this, but a lot of times when they have 5 bills to vote on the floor that day, they haven't read those bills inside and out. They rely on their staffers to tell them this is that gig worker bill, blah, blah, blah. Here's the bullet points. Like and if you're thinking those lazy bastards, if it doesn't fall in their top 3 like objectives while they're in office, they probably don't know a whole lot about it. And I think the gig economy is a big piece of that. I don't think they understand all they see is 200 emails come through a week saying that we all need to be employees. So they're under this assumption that we all want to be employees. None of us want to be employees. So my point there is they're not only not informed, they're 100% misinformed. But they think that because look, hey, there's 200 emails and 100 handwritten letters. That's 300 that came in this week. How many of them were want to be employees? 300. How many don't? 0. Oh, well, they must all want to be employees.
Yeah.
I think I think the great thing about this event coming up is hopefully we're going to bridge the gap a little bit, at least in Colorado, on what is really happening opposed to what they think is happening. I feel like there's a big misconception on what gig workers actually want versus what they think that we want.
Later, Brandon. See you after the show. I agree. I think a lot of things could come of this though too. I honestly believe that like Joe Rubino at the Denver Post, like I was telling you guys, because he has a salary position there as a staff writer, and he's a great one, and he covers politics, but they're attached to the Miami Herald, to the Chicago Tribune, to the Boston Globe, to the San Francisco Chronicle, and more. So if he was front page story on politics, front page of the newspaper on this Sunday's last newspaper. So he has the ability to actually not only do this for us, but get it out there to other ones that will run it, So this event could be run all over the place. So how it goes is going to be important. And I think one thing that for sure will happen at this event, and so if you aren't going to make it, please, you guys, tune into the live. Again, we're still going through the schematics of how to do that, but we will make sure that you are all able to watch this. Whether you're here or not, you will be able to see this event. Because let's be honest, and if you have questions, please put them in the comments of this, or, even, email, if you watch Zach or you watch Kim or whatever, email any of us, any of that stuff, because we're going to combine it. And I mean, like, look, a common question might be, or a common comment, like, what would you want to say to, if you had a politician and your senator in an elevator and it stopped, you were going to have 5 minutes with him and you're standing there with a DoorDash bag, and let's say you're like, I wouldn't initiate the conversation. Let's say he does. I see you're a DoorDasher. I'm getting all these emails. You guys want to be employees, huh? For $10 an hour. So my comment there would be like, if you said, I wouldn't say anything to my senator. If you heard that and you're stuck in an elevator with him, what would you reply to that? So any of that kind of information, put it in the comments, please, because I know a lot of answers are just the general, and there's nothing wrong with it, but the general, I want to be paid more. We all want to be paid more, guys. I mean, I'll even take it outside of the gig economy. I don't care what job you're in. Everybody wants to be paid more. Nobody's ever turned down a raise.
Isn't that the way of life?
I'm good. I literally, nobody's ever turned down a raise.
But no one's ever, like, even in W-2 gig work, like, it's never enough unless you're a millionaire.
That's what I'm saying.
Even then, I don't think it's ever enough. Like, you get to these different plateaus and like you always want more and you always want more, and it's never enough because either your cost of living is going up or your living expenses go up. Like, there's just never
or
enough,
inflation, and we're in a recession, and
it's just there's always things and obstacles that are always going to get in your way that you're going to kind of keep wanting more and more and more, opposed to unfortunately adapting with whatever's going on at that time, whether it's inflation, whether it is economy, whether, like, there could be so many different obstacles, and it's how you change yourself, because the money, unfortunately, it's never going to change unless you change.
yeah. But I feel like that's why I loved the Colorado bill. It didn't have a number attached. There was no dollar number. It was transparency for the drivers, complete, and also transparency for the customers, which I love. I love that. Show them every line item. Because that might get some of these companies to go, wait a minute, we got to take some of this off, that they're going to like really think we're thieves, which you are.
They're going to know.
They're going to know now we're thieves. They're going to know what our drivers know. They're now going to know we are complete thieves. So, okay, well, yeah, I think that needs to happen. I don't think there needs to be a dollar amount. And then the right to appeal wrongful deactivations. What's so wrong with that? And we had, and by the way, the two people in that party who made it so that the bill didn't even hit the floor, which means some of the people didn't ever even read that bill. But the two people who objected to that bill are invited to the town hall. Now you're probably thinking there's not a chance they'd come. I didn't invite them. Stephanie invited them. And I said, but what's the likelihood of like Priola showing up? And she said, if I word it correctly, pretty good, because otherwise he'll the week after, because the day before the 4th is the first day of the next session. Then they take the weekend off and they come back the next week. She said, if he doesn't want to talk, it's great timing, because if he doesn't want to talk to us there, he'll have to talk to us in committee the following week, and the party's going to slam him. So if he could agree to this, we won't have to take him into committee. So if you're thinking like, how do we get things like that done? I wouldn't have even known that move because I'm not a politician, but that was something that she's already learned and she had already thought of. It's like, so you're kind of going to threaten the guy. I like it. Let's do that. You know,
you're going to threaten him.
I can get behind that. Like, I mean, he should be there. He ran, if you guys aren't familiar, there's two holdouts, but one of them, Priola, he ran as a Republican here in Colorado. He got elected. As soon as he got elected, he said, never mind, I'm a Democrat. And now he got on board with this bill with Stephanie. He was on board for months. The day it was supposed to hit the floor, he said, I'm not on board with that anymore. So he didn't even let it, him and another guy made it so that didn't even hit the floor for a read. I mean, it's some of the most pathetic politician crap you've ever heard. But if he does come, it's not so that we can throw trash at him. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear why he held out. I really do. I mean, like, I'm curious to know why he held out. Because when I talked to Stephanie, I'm like, doesn't he have Doordash as a supporter? And she was like, yeah, but she's like, but there's way more to it than that. So I already know there is. I just don't exactly know what it is. She's like, that's why I think there is a chance he could come, because it's not like he's just going to go, well, Doordash is a backer of mine, so screw all you guys. She's like, there is more behind it. So my point is, I think, this is why we want everybody there. I think it's going to be an amazing event. So that said, I mean, we're kind of wrapping it up here for the night, you guys. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to be in Denver for GigCon, come on by. It's 12 to 4. All the information can be found, and I'll keep announcing it. It can be found in my community post and on other things. GigCon's on Friday and the town hall's on Saturday. So it's more of a reason to even come to Denver. You got 2 days of events. So, but this is going to be kind of a big, in my mind, I'm not trying to make it more than it is, but I'm trying to make sure that I am doing my best, even though Sergio's putting fear of God into me. Like, you're going to fail, but you're going to succeed too. Like, all right, man. Like, I appreciate the kick in the ass to do it right, but
He's doing reverse psychology on you. You're
I
gonna
guess,
fail,
but
you're
it's
gonna
so
fail, you're gonna
reversed. I'm
fail.
like spinning in my own mind. I don't even know what's going on. But I want this. I want this event to be so huge, but I'm not trying to overdo my expectations. I really just want people to walk out of there with a little more understanding, a little more, whoa, and the politician side of it, like, no, whoa, not everybody does want to be an employee. I want them to know that. I want other creators that come to understand the weight of this event is so much bigger than so much that we talk about on our channels. Nothing's going to end the gig economy, but this could redirect it in a direction that none of us want to be involved in it. And this is nationwide. And like Zach said earlier, it's going to be a state by state thing. The product didn't pass, but Biden's trying to squeeze through his nominee for labor secretary, and it's already taken longer than it ever takes to nominate. Both sides of the aisle are saying no. We don't want her. She wants complete unionization. I don't want unionization. Even if I had to go back to the W-2 world, I don't want unionization. So, I mean, to try and put a labor secretary in that only wants to be unionized, not a good idea. And everybody's against it, both sides. That's good. That makes me happy, because now what they're doing is waiting it out. And there was a comment from Bernie Sanders. I do have a soft spot for Bernie, even though he's crazy Bernie. I do have a soft spot for Bernie, but he did say that, he said, well, if nothing else, if she's not going to get confirmed, she should just stay in that position. Well, that's weird, because no, you shouldn't. You have to be confirmed.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just like walk into an office building and go, this one's open, I'll work here. Like, no. This is, I mean, she has the support of the administration, and she still can't get the seat. There's a reason for that. So there's a lot of political crap going on, and I don't want to focus on getting outside of the gig economy, because all of you guys are here for that portion of it. But there's a lot of political stuff that could affect all of us and how we earn moving forward. And I think that it needs to be addressed, and it will be. We got 2 hours to do it in. And then afterwards, we'll stick around and we're going to have a meet and greet. And I'm sure, like, again, we're trying to figure out the live streaming schematic and how it's going to work. But something will be going. It will be available to everybody. And so if you can make it, make it. If you can't make it, at least join the live stream, please. Put comments out there. Maybe we'll try and get, if you guys have good questions. That's why I was saying email them or put them in the comments of any video I put out from now till August 5th. Put in your comments question for August 5th, and put any question you want. I love it. We'll make it said. It's just the easy stuff, like more pay. That one is one that, that will come across in all the questions we have. So we don't need to say that one. Because I don't think they want to hear that either. They want to hear a deeper conversation. Then we need to be paid better, because I think that's what leads to, we'll just make you employees.
We all have our fun part.
I said I have a soft spot for him. I did not say that. I'm like, you know me better than that, Tony. But so, okay, before we get out of here, normally we ask everybody what they got going on. Gary's moving and doesn't have internet that can even stream Netflix, is how he put it. That's why he's not here tonight. He's
That's
at his dad's house.
Real.
Yeah, that's how you know it's real. I mean, Gary literally, he texted me the other day and he's like, my dad has worse internet than your government internet.
That's how you know it's bad.
I was like, shut up, dude. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. So this is the part where we do that. So maybe for you guys, it's what's going on with the show.
Sure. We have actually a really jam-packed lineup coming up. If you guys don't know, and I know they're friends of the show too. Solo has been our sponsor and will be our sponsor for the next couple of weeks. So if you guys haven't checked out Solo, do that. On top of that, we have Hannibal next Wednesday. He will be joining us as our guest next Wednesday. And then, do we tell them who our guest
Not
is
yet.
the following? Okay, we can't.
Let's
we
keep
have
that.
a very big guest coming up on August 2nd. So
I want to keep that one
the
under
teaser.
wraps.
Okay, it's very big. So
It's Steve.
what? It's Steve. No. This is I think our biggest guest yet. So thanks to Harry. So
Well,
I'm actually really.
It was kind of actually thanks to you,
You think?
because like
Like-
you sent the email and then the person followed up with Harry, and then Harry was like, "Oh yeah, that was those guys."
Yeah, just those guys.
Yeah, just those guys.
Those guys. Well, we started it, and hey, team effort. So our guest will let you know, but I'm really excited about it. So
Should be an interesting episode.
So that's the episode. The week
right
of
before GayCon.
okay. The Tuesday before the town
Wednesday.
hall. Okay.
Yeah, the Wednesday before.
Or the Wednesday. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It
Is your
actually
big
kind of.
guess. Okay.
I don't want to give it away. I want to give it away, but I won't give it away. Never
Don't
mind.
give it away.
So, but yeah, obviously, you guys, I am super excited. I've met a handful of people in person. I've never met Kim and Zach in person. I'm very much looking forward to them coming and being part of this. They're actually going to help me get through it, because if it was just Sergio, I might freak out and run.
I think this is the first time during the show you've acknowledged that Kim and I are going.
Well, I mean, you guys have already acknowledged it.
Yeah,
figured-
Kim and I will be there too.
Yeah, of course. In fact, there are two people that I really wanted to be there. I mean, I want everybody there, but I want them to be a part of this. So I think that on top of that, I mean, knowing Zach, there will be some content that comes out after the fact too. That'll probably be, shorter videos and whatnot, but maybe hit on a subject. And so I would just, stay open-minded, come to the event if you can. If you can't, at least watch the stream. I can't say for all. I'm so thankful to all you guys that do watch the stream. Please hit the like, by the way. But at the same time, this is going to be the stream to watch. You might go away from it going, well, I don't really know what I took away from it, but it's going to be the start of something. I really believe that. I know Sergio is going to try and up it after that, based on how it goes. But I also think that I think it's going to be quite the event. Let me just say that. So. We're gonna have David there, a bunch of people. I don't even want to start naming people, because we got so many others, and then there's people from GigCon, and just there's so many people in town that weekend, plus the event. So it's gonna be big. And yes, Kim is bringing a bunch of luggage, but she knows. Kim
She's
knows.
bougie. She wouldn't even sleep on the
He's
floor.
the same as when we travel. It's very compact what you can bring.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm flying in Friday. I am gonna be there on Saturday and flying right back out on Sunday. So it is a time difference, jet lag, fun-filled 2 days, but it's gonna be good. I'm just so excited to finally meet everybody in face to face in person. We wouldn't have been able to do this 2 or 3 years ago, so it's gonna
Who
be.
is he talking about?
He's talking about Bernie Sanders. And so
Oh.
I just had to say it again. Guys, I'm not like backing him, but like, here's what I will say. I'm going to say one positive thing about him that none of you guys can reject. I don't care what you feel. Because this guy, one of the reasons I respect him is when he was running, that guy flew, and I know this is a dumb thing, but he flew coach on every flight he did. He did not have a private plane. He did not fly first class. He had a coach ticket every time. Some respect there. I don't know many other politicians who do that. Sorry. I'm just pointing it out that all sides need to come together for us to make some real changes. We can't have extreme sides anymore. So that said, you guys, we're out of here. And I really want to thank these two for helping me put this roundtable together. Otherwise, it's just going to be me. And I was going to put me on like 5 screens. I don't even know what I was going to do. I know.
I'm like, oh, that's scary.
But thank you for joining us. We'll be back here next week. And then the week after is the night before GigCon and before the town hall. And that night will be Jason Thierry, Nova Dasher, Xander, Let's Play Doordash Joe, and I believe John Dash Theory TV. So pretty much none of us will be here. It'll be Kim's first missed show.
I'd say I was gonna tell you, Steve. I'm like, I think I need to miss that Thursday.
Of course you do. You have a 5 or 4 a.m. flight out of a different airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, help me. This is
But,
how
but
you
I
know
already
I love you
called
guys.
Jason. Jason's got it. He's gonna handle it. And so we're good. He's gonna run it his way and we'll see what happens. I like Jason. He can be a little raw sometimes. It'll be a different show, but I think most of you guys know him and like him, and you guys will appreciate what he brings. And then after that, we'll be back and we'll come back with our breakdown of the event, I guess, the week after. But until then, you guys earn safe, be smart, be good to people, and we'll see you back here next week. Peace.